Hello, and welcome back to Rock Your Block. I'm your host, Trudy Richardson. Welcome to our segment, which we call 495 Metro. Today, we will share with you part 2 of some ideas on how to create and keep your New Year's resolution. Our show is about helping our viewers to live the life they were meant to live by becoming the persons they were meant to be. To aid us in our discussion, today is our co-host, Senior Consultant Edward Richardson with Resource Supply Service, LLC. Ed, will you explain to our viewers what the Senior Consultant at Resource Supply Service, LLC does, and how does it relate to our topic in creating and keeping your New Year's resolutions?
Well, you know, Trudy, I felt like I've been asked this question by you before.
We're just bringing everybody up to date.
Okay, and for those of us, those out there who are seeing us for the second time, we help people create achievable goals. And we provide to our clients tools and strategies to help them be successful at creating achievable goals.
You just mentioned something that perhaps our viewers would like to know. Why is it important to you to help people to achieve their goals and live the life they were meant to live?
I believe that everyone is entitled to be happy. Now, I know we can't be happy all the time, and I'm not talking about ha-ha, goofy kind of happy. That's I don't want our viewership to get that idea. What I'm talking about is living your life from a place inside yourself where you're comfortable in your own skin, you're enjoying the things that you do, whatever those things may be, and you feel good about the life that you're living. And in order to do that, life is not a static thing, it's a process. So what's happening is that we're continually having to reinvent ourselves, week by week, month by month, sometimes day by day. And so creating goals and knowing how to create goals that you can achieve, I think is an integral part of living the life that you want to live and being the person that you were meant to be.
And talking about creating and keeping New Year's resolutions and learning how to be the person that you were meant to be, how do you go about discovering that, A, and B, doing that in a way that while you're going through the process, that it doesn't become drudgery, it doesn't become, oh, I'm going to fail, or no, I can't do this, or putting obstacles before yourself so you won't stay stuck where you are?
Oh, I believe that every person came into this life with a purpose. And part of the struggle that we have as human beings is finding that purpose and then living according to that purpose, being true to that purpose. So when you're looking at, and I don't know if I'm answering your question properly, but the point I'm trying to get across is that we're not talking about positive thinking. We're not talking about pie in the sky. We're talking about taking a hands-on approach to living our lives. So many people put their lives into the hands of others, and they find themselves living a life that someone else has planned for them. And they become disappointed. Some become angry. I mean, there are statistics out there that tell us that 80% of the people hate their jobs. 80% of the people that plan a New Year's resolution, I mean, they don't make it. So what happens? This is a very serious thing. Taking control of your life, thinking for yourself, going out there and creating your own success by creating your own goals, living on your own terms. And I believe that as long as you're not hurting anyone, that a person, especially in America today, has a right to create their own success, whatever that might be. For some people, success is a big house. For other people, it's a modest house. For other people, it's being able to go on vacation whenever they want to go. For other people, it's having certain kinds of friends or traveling in certain kinds of circles. Success is what the individual defines, not what someone else defines. And you need to have goals in order to create the success you want to have so that you can live the life you want to live and become the person you were meant to be.
In our last show, and speaking about goals, you talked about the SMART plan. You talked about taking 5 minutes a day to get your plan started. You talked about having a purpose. You talked about excuse me, starting the end from the beginning and why you want to have a finished product in front of you so you can look at the steps that you have to go to get that finished product. And you stated that that helps you in the success of your plan. And we also talked about accountability. And I would like to ask you, what other tools besides getting an accountability partner do we have in terms of tools to help people reach their goals?
Well, after you establish what your purpose in life is going to be, your purpose is not a static thing. Purpose can change from season to season, year to year. There are people now that have 2 and 3 and 4 careers. So your life can be very exciting and very exhilarating based on the purposes that you choose from time to time. So the first thing that you have to understand is, hey, you know one thing? Let me begin to discover some different things that are going on in the world, and let me see what I might like to try. Now, in order to do that, you've got to expose yourself to certain things. You've got to expose yourself in a safe way. And by that, I mean you have to read. You have to connect with people. You have to search out what it is you think you want to do. And then you have to find ways to get engaged with people who are doing that to see if this is really something you want to spend your life doing. And if you're doing that on a daily basis, you're going to have one heck of a great life. You're going to have, the old saying, get a life. Well, people usually use that as a put down, but I think we should use it as a lift up. Yeah, we all need to get a life. Some of us are way too overextended into things that really don't matter, that really don't make us happy because someone else says it should make you happy. Oh, you should go and get a doctorate so you can say I'm a doctor. Nothing wrong with being a doctor. But do people who don't have doctorates, should they feel bad because they don't have one? I don't think so. You take a look at guys like, let's look at Bill Gates and Steve Jobs, 2 men who didn't finish college, who went on to do great things. I don't know what university Jesus went to, for example. Some would say he did some pretty great things. The list goes on and on. People who may not have made the news, mothers and fathers out there who have raised families and created the next generation of leaders who toiled in relative obscurity. These are great people. These are great things. They had great purpose, and they lived great lives.
So as we talk about tools, we talk about plans, and in today's society, we all get busy in minutia, we get busy in our jobs, we get busy with our kids. How can you regulate your time to include your goals so that you can live the life you were meant to live?
You got to take 5 minutes a day and work on it. If you and I wanted to grow a plant, we'd have to plant it, we'd have to water it, we'd have to fertilize it, we'd have to work on it. If you want to have a relationship with someone, you have to work on it. Anything that you want to grow requires the attention of work. And sometimes work is hard. If you feel like you're overwhelmed with your time, you may have to get up 5 minutes earlier to work on your plan. There's a philosophy that when you work, you should pay yourself first. You take part of the money that you make, and you make sure you pay yourself first before you pay anybody else, before you pay your bills, before you whatever it is you do. You take a portion of that money and pay yourself first. You cannot create wealth unless you pay yourself first. Well, if you want to create the kind of life that you want to live, you've got to pay attention to your life, and you've got to do that first. You've got to make yourself a priority. That's not to say you're selfish. It's a good selfishness. It's saying, hey, listen, I'm going to live my life on purpose. I'm not going to get up and live my life happenstance. I'm going to take responsibility and see what happens. And you'd be surprised. You'd be surprised when you take the mindset, not trying to, run over anybody else or anything, but when you just take the mindset that you're going to take care of business in your life, then you're in a position to help other people also begin to live the life they were meant to live, And
Well, what would you say to people? And this is one of the things that I guess we can share with our viewers from your perspective with me, because there are people out there who will say, hey, well, you're talking about discipline, and I don't want to settle. I want to be the person that I was meant to be and live the life I was meant to have, but I don't want to have to be locked into a discipline position to do that. Or for a person like me, me, I'm the kind of person, I like discipline up to a point, and then it becomes so rote that I have to break from it and do something else, and then I lose my space of where I was headed, my purpose.
Mm-hmm. Well, you plan for undisciplined times. That's all. You work real hard for 3 weeks and you reward yourself. You take some time off. You take a vacation. You relax a little bit, and then you get back to it. People think it's a black and white world, but there are many, many shades of gray. If you put your nose to the grindstone all the time, you will have no face. So you kind of have to pull back a little bit, and say, okay, let me smell the flowers and smell the roses. Let me make sure I stay connected with myself and with the people that I love, and maintain, keep myself on track toward my purpose. Now that's for somebody like you, but for other people, man, they love to work. They'll do it 24/7. And other people say, oh, they're a workaholic. They're going to work themselves to a grave. Not necessarily. They just love what they do.
Well, Ed, I want to find out, talk some more about that, but we'll be right back after a short station break. Stay tuned.
Channel 10 doesn't have ratings, and we can't read your mind. The only way we know that you're watching is if you tell us. Let us know you enjoy a show on Channel 10 by leaving a message on our viewer comment line. It's a local call, and you don't have to leave your name. Thank you for supporting local television.
Welcome back. You are watching Rock Your Block in today's segment of 495 Metro. Our co-host is Edward Richardson, Senior Consultant with Resource Supply Service, LLC. And the subject we are discussing today is how to create and keep your New Year's resolution and the tools that you have available to you to keep them. Ed, in the last segment before the break, we were speaking about time management.
Right.
Let's talk about, for instance, a single mother with 3 kids, their activities, her job. How does a person like that stay the course, keep their goals?
Well, first of all, she's going to need help. She is not going to be able to accomplish her goals by herself, because there's simply so much energy that she's putting out and only so much time in which she can do what she has to do as a mother and a provider, or even a father who may be in that position where he has the kids and something has happened and it's only so much time that he can put out. And typically when people find themselves in that situation, they begin to feel guilty that they're not doing enough. So rather than feeling guilty and beating yourself up for being a human being or lamenting that you're in a tough situation, you need to find help. And by that I mean you need to find people who are willing to help you, for example, watch the kids at certain times when you need to study. Or maybe there's a way that you can integrate, if you will, the family into the goal to help you with the goal. For years, people have had their children help out around the house while they did other things, or they've included their children in a business venture if that is what the desire was, the purpose was. There's always a way. This is what we have to get across to our viewers. Just because you may not know there's a way does not mean that a way does not exist. And, you know, we encourage our viewers to write us at info@495metro.com, not to spill their guts or anything, but say, hey, listen, this is my situation. Do you have any ideas on how we might be able to move to the next step in this? For someone who has heavy responsibilities like that, they're going to have to be even more careful planners so that they can work out their lives in a guiltless way. But it all begins with understanding that you're going to need help. You can't do it alone.
And when you say, by saying you need help, I've been in that situation trying to accomplish goals with young children and household and job and other things to do. And one of the things that I find is helpful, and I'd like to talk about that, especially like with you and I. We have goals that we're trying to accomplish right now. So you and I know that we both have jobs, we both have other things in between before we can get home and meet and sit down and discuss our goals. So we have decided that we know that we're morning people. So we have chosen to get up earlier in the morning to meet our goals. So how would you encourage other people to find, I guess, their time of the day where they can work on themselves or work on their goals?
You know, in our generation, I keep thinking of Frankie Beverly and Maze. And Frankie Beverly sang this song called, in Maze, they sang this song called Golden Time of the Day. And if you're paying attention to yourself, you will find that there are certain times of the day when you have more energy than other times of the day. And for those times of the day when your mental energy is very high, those are the times of the day that are golden. Those are the times of the day that you need to sit down and do some serious thinking and planning about your life. And if you can utilize those times of the day in the proper way, then your success will come more quickly. Now, I have to say once again to our viewership, failure is okay. There's countless stories about inventors and other people that tried and failed and tried and failed and tried and failed. But as I mentioned to you in our last show, the thing that I love about you is that you're persistent. You're going to keep at it. You're going to keep grinding. You're going to keep working at it. And that is what is required. There are no overnight successes. People think that there's overnight success. You know, they play the lottery, somebody wins $600 million, you get all dreamy-eyed. You know, I wish that could be me. Those are exceptions to the rule. That's not really the real world. You know, one person out of how many hundreds of millions of people on the planet do that, and you're going to put all your eggs in that basket? I don't think so. I think that what you have to do is go to work for yourself. And you have to understand that sometimes you're going to make mistakes. But if you are taking advantage of your golden time of the day, like we do, we get up 5 o'clock in the morning. We have an agenda for the day. We plan the day out, and sometimes everything goes great. Sometimes things go sideways, but it's okay. As long as we have breath in a sound mind and we can get up the next day, then we're going to be right back at it. And that's settled with us. That's not something that we're going to say, okay, well, do we do it today or not? That's settled with us. And I think it needs to be settled for those who would attempt to accomplish goals and keep resolutions.
Say, in keeping that and settling with the day, I'd like you to share with the viewers your mini day.
My mini day. Well, as a father and as a consultant and as a business person, there are a number of things that I do on a daily basis that are reoccurring, okay? And what I try to do, and this is the best way that I can explain it to our viewers, is that, almost everybody who's in business deals with email. You know you're going to deal with email. Some people are answering email all day long. You got to stop that. You got to say, all right, I'm going to answer email between 10 o'clock and 11 o'clock. I'll just use that as an example. And after 11 o'clock, I'm not answering any more email until tomorrow between 10 and 11. You know, during the summertime, I know I have to cut the grass. I like cutting the grass. So I know that on certain days, that's what I'm going to do in that time. If that time gets eaten up and goes by, then the grass is going to get long, and I can't get back to it until the next week. But you'll find that once you set aside specific times to do things that happen in your life over and over, it creates time for you to become creative. And so now, instead of working in your life, you begin to work on your life. And you buy the time that's necessary to sit and think and plan and do those things that are necessary for you to accomplish your goals and to keep your resolutions. But you can't live life haphazard because time stealers like email and phone calls and things like that will take time away from you, and you'll end up at the day and you don't know what you've done.
So, and talking about creating and keeping New Year's resolutions, have you started working on your New Year's resolution and putting into practice and planning?
I have started working on my New Year's revolution. No,
Resolution.
yeah, I have, and that's why I'm here, and that's why I'm here with you. I want to, in my own way, as best as I can, help other people to lead the kind of life that they were meant to live and to be the kind of person that they were meant to be. I think you and I both would agree that we're not where we want to be yet. We're not perfect. We still make mistakes and everything. But I think we've found a way that is leading us in the right direction. And I think that we can help our viewers to do the same thing.
I think so too. And I guess for you and I, we started this plan probably about 8-9 years ago, or was it longer than that, when we made our first, when we set our first goal to our first New Year's resolution. I remember we wrote down about 10 different items that we wanted to accomplish that particular year. And I remember not really paying attention to the list as in going about doing the work, as you said, to meet the resolutions that we had written down. And I do remember sitting at home that almost December 31st, as we were getting ready and go into the following year, and you pulled out that list, and we started looking, and we started actually checking off all the things that we had accomplished that year without really realizing that we had accomplished our New Year's resolutions.
You got to be religious about what it is you do. And you can't be agnostic about life. No matter what your personal religious beliefs may be, you have to live your life like it really means something to you. And if you won't do that, then you'll find yourself sucked up by the opinions and driven to and fro by the whims of other people who may not necessarily have your best interest in mind. You know, you've been given a brain, use it. Now, the tools that we talk about, reading, time management through a mini day, taking 5 minutes every day to just kind of focus in on your purpose and accomplishing your goal, getting help, getting accountability partners. For our viewership, they should know that we're going to have guests on here real soon that are going to help them with some of these things that we have been sharing. So, what kind of guests would you foresee us having in the future to help people with realizing or helping them to identify the person that they were meant to be and living the life they were meant to have? I think people are interested in living longer and looking younger. I think people are interested in learning different ways that they can generate additional income for themselves. I think people are looking at ways that they can entangle themselves from, lack of a better word, guilty feelings about maybe things that they've done in life and they've failed. And I think that the kinds of guests that we want will help people to achieve those things or get certain things out of their lives so they can go on with life and really excel.
Well, Ed, we thank you for coming and sharing today. I hope our viewers received a lot of information that they can implement in their own lives. And I hope they'll tune in and you'll come back and share with us again. Remember, you can find more information about setting your resolutions on www.495metro.com. We will follow up on keeping the resolutions and the tools you need to be successful and be effective. Thank you.